Now come to the 31st question. Temperature inversion. See, UPSC has already asked a mains question from the temperature inversion. Okay, so there is high chance that they will ask a prelims question from temperature inversion for your coming prelims. So that particular area is important for UPSC. Okay, just go through these statements. If you go through the third statement, it prevents frost formations in valley floors. If you have followed the class, you will understand that it is utterly wrong. In the valley bottoms, due to the temperature inversions, the cold air will come to the valley bottoms and the temperature will go below freezing point, resulting in the formation of frost. Okay, so that the humans avoid settlements in the valley bottoms. We have discussed all these things in the class. Now, if you know the third statement is wrong, you can eliminate A and C. So what left is B as well as D, and from that itself we will understand that the second and fourth statements are true. Now it all depends on whether the first statement is true or false. Again, go through the first statement. Katabatic wind results in temperature inversion. Again, when we were discussing about temperature inversion, we discussed about how the temperature inversion can be formed. We discussed about air drainage. We discussed about temperature inversion taking place in polar regions, temperature inversion taking place in a long winter night, all these things, right? What you should understand is katabatic winds, they are nothing but another term used to represent air drainage. Okay, so that the katabatic wind, it will result in the formation of, or it will result in temperature inversion. Should I explain that? Any doubts? Okay. The 32nd question. Which of the following could explain the formation of Atacama Desert? Okay. See, the tropical or subtropical deserts, they are always seen on the seen in the western margin of the continents. Okay, I have already discussed why. The reasons being, one, cold current will will reduce the precipitation, or it will favor the dry conditions, and offshore winds, or you can say here we are having trade winds. Now other reasons are also there. Temperature inversion can also result in desert formations, right? Again, rain shadow regions can also result in desertic formations. But this particular desert, Atacama Desert, when I was taking climatology sessions, I told you that that region is important for you. Atacama Desert as well as Peru and Ecuador. Reason? Because of El Nino, right? Now, if we have this knowledge, like why the subtropical deserts are seen in the western margins, you will be able to get to the answer. Now, go through the first one, the presence of Humboldt current. Humboldt current is nothing but a cold current, okay, and it will favor dry conditions, reducing precipitation or resulting in temperature inversion. Not that point. Now, the second one, the prevailing winds reduce the relative humidity. Now, what is the prevailing wind existing there? They are nothing but trade winds, and they are offshore trade winds. They will be coming from, they would have already given out precipitation in the other regions, and when reaching the Atacama Desert, it will be offshore winds. Okay, so it will not result in precipitation, again favoring the formation of desert, or specifically Atacama Desert. Now if you know both these statements are true, you will get the answer as D, 1, 2 and 3. Okay. Now from that itself, understand that the third one is true. Now you should always note that the rain shadow region of Andes mountain, it also influences the formation of Atacama Desert. Okay, again I'm telling you, like, go through that region again. Okay, Atacama Desert, Ecuador and Peru. You should be thorough with the bordering states of Ecuador and Peru, as well as the formation of Atacama Desert. Okay, now come to the next question, 33. When the winds blow from all sides to the central lobe in an anti-cyclonic direction, then this phenomena is known as, again that question is actually an ABCD question. Right? You need to understand about all these statements, then only you will be able to get to the answer. Now see, in the question it is given as central low, and it is given as it is having anticyclonic rotation. See, if you are having cyclonic rotation, and another thing we can have is anticyclonic rotation. In the case of anticyclonic rotation, in northern hemisphere the rotation will be anti-clockwise, and in the southern hemisphere it will be clockwise. See, I am not explaining how this came into being, right? It is related with Coriolis effect. Okay, this is given in detail in our climate, in our, I guess it's there in the third material. Okay, if you want to, if you have doubt in this concept how it is affecting the wind pattern, you can go through our material. Okay, so cyclonic conditions, the rotation will be in northern hemisphere it will be anti-clockwise, southern hemisphere it will be clockwise. Okay, so since it is given as central low, that means cyclonic circulations. In the case of anticyclonic circulations, it will be high pressure at the center, right? So from that knowledge you can eliminate A option, like anticyclonic conditions of southern hemisphere. In the question it is given as central low. So from that itself we will understand that it will not be the A option, or it cannot be anticyclone, right? Now it comes to B, C as well as D. Temperate cyclone, is it actually like winds, is it moving towards the central low? No, temperate cyclones, they are formed because of the polar front, right? So again we can eliminate the B option. Now what comes is C and D. Again from this itself we are having anticyclonic rotation only in the northern hemisphere. So the answer will come out as C. Go through the 34th question. Go through that second statement specifically. The height of the troposphere decreases during summer and it increases during winter. Now we have discussed that the height of the atmosphere as well as troposphere changes with season. During summer season we will be having high insulation and high convective currents will be there. Therefore the height of the troposphere will be increased during the summer when compared with winter. Now actually UPSC has already asked a particular question related with this concept. So from that we will understand that the second statement is wrong, so that we can eliminate B as well as D. So now what left is A as and C, and from that the first statement is true, right? Now the first statement, the Earth's magnetic field diverts electrically charged particles from space towards its pole. Now we have already discussed about sunspot as well as solar winds, right? Now during this sunspot, the electrons charge traveling with high velocity will come to our atmosphere, and what protects us from these electrons or highly charged particles, what protects us is our magnetosphere or our Earth's magnetic field. It will divert these particles towards the it will divert these particles towards our pole, north pole as well as south pole, so that we will be having aurora in both these poles. We had discussed about aurora, right? Northern lights and southern lights. One reason for the formation of aurora is this diversion of magnetically charged particles towards the towards the poles of the Earth. Now go through the third statement. It all depends on whether this statement is true or false. Mesopause is the coldest region in the atmosphere. Now we know that we have discussed about troposphere, stratosphere and mesosphere, right? They are thermally stratified layers, right? As the altitude increases in troposphere, temperature decreases, and as the altitude increases in stratosphere, the temperature also increases, and in mesosphere, as the altitude increases, the temperature will decrease. We know this, right? So that we will be having the coldest regions in the atmosphere, it will be there in the mesopause. After the mesopause, there will be thermosphere. In thermosphere, the temperature will go on increasing. Okay, so that we can say that mesopause will be having the coldest region in atmosphere. So the answer will come out as C. Now see the next question. and we have already discussed this in the class. Nearly 30% of the solar radiation return back to the space without contributing anything to the surface temperature. Now what we call that radiation? Nothing but albedo. Okay, albedo determines the visual brightness of a particular planet. Albedo determines the reflectivity of the surface, and the Earth's albedo is 30%. So that we can indirectly say that the 30% of solar radiation is not taking part in the any of the heat budget here. Okay, so the answer is Earth's albedo.